Hello, my name is Nick Santamaria, and by way of introduction, I've been in show business for 49 years. Next year will be 50. I'm a stand-up comedian, an author, I'm a film historian, I'm a playwright, a musician, whatever. I do a lot of things. One of the things I've done during the pandemic was help write a book about Abbott and Costello. It's a film by film guide, and the reason I'm showing you this is because my class is called The Art of Abbott and Costello. Now, Abbott and Costello and art in the same sentence, I am going to prove to you that that makes a lot of sense. We are going to be starting on Mondays at 9:30 Eastern till 11:30. I believe the start date is October 2nd. Is that correct? Okay, so I wanted to read something to you very quickly from the opening chapter of my book. And it says here that, yes, there were other successful graduates of Minsky University, but it was Bud and Lou who'd done the most to preserve the comedy sketches of that particular medium, burlesque. To me, their work is a valuable master class, just as important as the study of Greek tragedy, commedia dell'arte, and Shakespeare. Now, that's quite a statement to make about a couple of burlesque clowns. But the truth of the matter is, these two guys came out of burlesque in 1936, and by 1941, they were the biggest stars in America. It's an incredible story. It's got wonderful comedy. I'm going to be showing you wonderful clips. We're going to be talking about their careers. We're going to be talking about their private lives. And there was a lot of tragedy with these two guys. They attracted a lot of down stuff, and we're going to be looking at all of this. I hope you can make it. It is a lot of fun, and you will laugh. I promise you, you will laugh. And every one of the 6 parts of this course is going to begin with a different version of Who's on First. So you can see every one of them was different. So come, join me. This is a lot of fun. We're going to be looking at Bud and Lou, and I hope it's good for you. That's a rhyme. See you later.
This is Howard Tolley, retired professor of political science from the University of Cincinnati. I'll be offering a class I last taught at FSU in the fall of 2021, Race Matters in the Supreme Court. And last June, there were tremendous press accounts about the end of affirmative action at Harvard and the ruling that Alabama had created racially discriminatory election districts. There will be 3 sessions, the first on October 2nd, at the very beginning of the court's fall term, running from 2:30 to 4:30, skipping the week of October 9th, and then 2 additional sessions. I'm going to introduce the articles and the amendments of the U.S. Constitution and federal laws addressing slavery, beginning at the colonial era. I'll deal with the Equal Clause of constitutional amendments and how the justices of the Supreme Court have interpreted those provisions when confronted by claims of discrimination. The court's rulings on disparate criminal penalties for Blacks and whites, owners' property rights, on voter suppression, gerrymandered election districts, Jim Crow, separate but equal, affirmative action, lethal use of force by police, and prosecutorial immunity all provide a critical perspective on the legal system's evolving approach to resolving disputes over Black lives. I'd welcome your active participation on Zoom and look forward to the first class on October 2nd.
Good afternoon or good evening, wherever you are in the world, thanks to the miracle of Zoom. My name is David Mayer-Levy, and I have the honor and the pleasure of presenting a 6-session course, which will start on Monday, October the 2nd, and run through November the 6th from noon to 2 Eastern Time. The topic will be Out of the Ashes, the Rise of Christianity from the Destruction of the Temple. In 586 BCE, about 2,500 plus years ago, The temple in Jerusalem, the Jewish temple, was destroyed by the Babylonians. The city of Jerusalem was destroyed, the country was devastated, and tens, if not hundreds of thousands of exiles were forced marched across the desert into eastern Babylonia and beyond. This was an incredible crisis of faith for the Jewish people. The temple had been destroyed, the temple that David had built. There were different responses to this crisis, and we'll take a look at those. And we'll pay special attention to one which emerged out of this crisis situation with a new interpretation of Judaism and how that group evolved over the next 500 plus years into what we today call Christianity. We'll look first at a quick historical survey to give you a framework within which to understand all this. And then we'll focus on the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Nag Hammadi Papyri and the Gabriel Stone, the three revolutionary documents discovered in the 20th century, which throw light onto the Christian connections between the people who wrote and who considered sacred the Dead Sea Scrolls. Then we'll follow that process through to the very beginnings of Christianity and the rise of the Latin Church in Rome and the ultimate victory of the Roman Church, not only over various heresies, of which there were many, but also other Christianities, and became the leading force for Christianity in the world. If you find that interesting, I look forward to seeing you and welcome your participation. David Mayer-Levy, Out of the Ashes.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Maggie. My name is Maggie Macaulay, and I am the director of the Alliance Française of Tallahassee. My course is called Read, Write, Speak, Listen to French, and it meets on Mondays at 2:30 p.m. In this class, we will learn the words and full sentences that will guide you through your travel and living experiences in France. Each class will address the 4 areas of language learning, reading, writing, speaking, and listening, that are necessary to navigate this extraordinarily diverse country. We will do this in the context of a quest for what makes each region unique, considering food, music, festivals, and more. All levels of French are warmly welcome, and classes taught in a non-intimidating way. That's our promise. On our last day, we will invite speakers in from various regions of France and have an in-class toast. And we will be doing a lot of virtual travel to the country as well. So, merci, and I look forward to seeing you in class. Au revoir.
My name is Isidra Mencos, and I'm going to be teaching the course Goya, the Birth of a Modern Painter. And that's going to start on Monday, October the 2nd from 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. and it will run for 6 weeks. Now, Goya is one of the 3 giants of Spanish painting, the other ones being Velázquez and Picasso, and he's in the middle. He lived from 1746 to 1828, which was a period, a bridge between the Enlightenment and Romanticism, and Goya had a little bit of both. It was also a time of great political upheaval in Spain, with lots of wars and also a lot of tension between conservative and liberals. Goya not only was a masterful painter that reflected his historic time, but he also brought a very modern vision of painting. Before Goya, painters described an immutable order with God on top, the monarchy as its divine representation, the elites, and then the masses. And the painters were paid to describe the world this way. They were paid by the church, they were paid by the king, they were paid by the aristocrats. But then Goya, when he came, especially after 1792, when he had an illness that left him stone deaf, started painting really for himself, not on commission, and then selling what he could to the people that would like his art. So what he did was very, very modern, which was presenting a world that lacked meaning. It was a chaotic world. And also, he broke the distance between the painting and the viewer. When you are in front of a Black painting by Goya or a Disasters of the War etching, you're never going to forget it, because you're not just a viewer watching coldly a piece of art. You're actually a witness to the horrors that can take our world. In this class, we're going to have a mixture of lecture with a lot of visuals, videos, photos, etc., so we can examine the works more closely. And in the first class, we're going to be covering the historical background as well as the tapestry cartoons, which was a series of 60 paintings at the beginning of Goya's career. In the second class, we're going to cover his portraits, which were a third of his work. The third class is going to be about the Caprichos series, very famous one. Class 4 is going to be about of his obsessions with the witches, madmen, Colossus, and other topics. And class 5, we're going to cover the disasters of the war, which is also a collection of etchings. And class 6 is going to cover the black paintings and his later works. It's going to be an engaging class, which is going to give you an in-depth look at Goya, and I think you will enjoy it. Please join me.
Buenos dias. My name is Laura Gonzalez Morris, a native Spanish speaker born in Cuba and raised in Miami. The name of my class is Más es Mejor, Intermediate Spanish 2. I'm excited to be teaching with OLLI again and sharing my beautiful Spanish language with you. The class is on Tuesdays, 9:30 to 11:30, from October 3rd to November 7th. Like the name of the class explains, more is better. It is designed for students who have a working knowledge of Spanish and want to improve their expertise. Those of you who have previously taken Spanish classes with OLLI are strongly encouraged to join us again. I also want to welcome those who may not have taken classes with OLLI to join us as well. We will be touching onto different tenses each week to expand our grammar and conversational skills. Now, don't think this will be the same old rote memory like in high school. No, indeed. We will be learning in a very interactive and fun way, which my previous students tell me they enjoyed very much, and I think you will too. Use of different tenses in your conversation allows flexibility in speaking to describe various situations. The key is getting the point across in whichever way you can. And the more you learn, the more success you will have accomplishing this goal. There will be time set aside for listening, translation, for speaking with each other, and writing text as well. Reading, writing, speaking, listening, with emphasis on conversation. There is no better time than now to take this class. Don't doubt your abilities. Just jump right in and make it happen. This is a perfect opportunity, so don't miss it. Okay? You will truly amaze yourself to how much you can learn in 12 hours of an exciting, fun experience as we journey through Spanish together. Also, I want to mention that we have a Spanish club on Zoom, which is on Fridays from 10 to 11. And one Friday a month, we will try to go to a different Hispanic restaurant to learn more about the culture and the food and just enjoy each other's company. So I'm looking forward to meeting you. And I know that you will really enjoy the experience of journeying through the Spanish language. Thank you so much. Hasta luego.
My name is Hugh Lehman. I teach art classes, art history and art technique in Spanish and English. The class that I'll be teaching for OLLI at Florida State University is the Colonial Art of Latin America. The class takes place on October 3rd, being the first of the 6 classes, from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In these classes, we will journey through the Americas, looking at the indigenous people's art and worldview as it manifests in the artwork. We will then look to how these artworks, the worldview, begins to change with the arrival of Europeans. Ultimately, what we'll come to find through our course is that the artwork, in many cases, is a representation of the spiritual realm and social power structures. The fascinating thing amongst the many artworks we'll see in different parts of the Americas is that as the spiritual realm and the social power structures manifest in the artwork, at times they so too, through their symbolism, conceal the ways in which a culture is preserved. Art, in this case, acts as a powerful tool allowing for colonization and the horrors behind it to happen, as well as the preservation of a culture, and in many ways, the birth of something altogether new and different. One of the main concepts that will run its way throughout our course is the concept of syncretism, or this combination of two separate religions coming together to form something altogether new and different. Beyond this, we will look to the idea of what I oftentimes refer to in the course as the European art of representation and the New World art of experience. In this case, what we'll be seeing is the idea of the art of representation as it took place, keeping in mind that contemporarily what was happening was the Renaissance in Europe. This is the epitome of using a two-dimensional surface to trick the viewer's eye into believing that it is a three-dimensional surface. With this in mind, the viewer was pulled in visually to the artwork so that they could absorb its didactic teachings, beginning to absorb the ideas of who was in charge, oftentimes the people that commissioned the artworks, and what to consume. In this case, it was typically Jesus Christ. We then will transfer that knowledge into the Americas and begin to see that an entirely different form and modality of art exist. In that, it's not to say that the representational form didn't exist, but there was something very ritualistic within the art form itself. Those rituals could manifest in several different mechanisms. Oftentimes, as we will come to see, they would reference the social realm that are the social realm and the spiritual realm being contained within the artwork itself that could be evoked through hallucinogenic substances or different rituals that included fasting and beyond. For geographical context, we'll start in the Caribbean. From there, we will turn our attention to Mesoamerica. And finally, we will end on the western coast of what is today's present South America, looking at the major empires and different peoples, as well as their belief systems. I hope you'll join us for this course and bring with you your ideas, your questions, and perhaps some of your experiences in this part of the world. Thank you very much.
My name is Michael Kinnickett, and the name of my course is Gloria Exercitus, the Roman Army. Its first class is on October 3rd, Tuesday at 2:30 p.m. That's post-meridian, and it will run for all 5 Tuesdays in October. As Edward Gibbon, the English historian who spent 13 years writing his history of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, might say, Rome was not built in a day, nor was its army, Exercitus, which is still today considered to be one of the most effective and successful military machines of all time. In 5 classes, we will trace the armies and at the same time Rome's evolution from its humble origins in the 8th century BCE to the pivotal and turbulent events of the Republic and through the empire when the army often acted as kingmaker and breaker. The slow fade of Rome's omnipotence and its division into 2 empires ushered in an era of constant warfare involving competing claims to the throne as well as growing external threats, all of which culminated in the fall of Constantinople in 1453. So, if you're interested in joining the ranks for a quick march through 2 millennia of history, with some bells, whistles, and maps along the way, then I hope you will enroll in my class. In the meantime, Ave Cesare. Thank you.
I'm Marnie Richards, and I'm teaching gentle yoga on Tuesdays from 2:30 to 3:30. And we'll be on Zoom. So I like to think about it as we'll be practicing together in the comfort of our own living rooms. And we'll be using in gentle yoga all the tools that are available to us in yoga. So we'll be learning and practicing breath work and centering techniques. We'll be doing balance, lots of balance work with various yoga poses. We'll be working on essential stretches that are important for everyday life and will assist in yoga practice. We'll be doing, of course, traditional yoga postures and some kind of non-traditional yoga postures. And we'll be focusing on strengthening and flexibility and focus and balance. And all of this within a practice that really is aimed towards each person, what works for you on that day with your level of energy, with your abilities. So I'll always be offering options for the poses and the movements that we do. I'll be showing different ways of doing things. I'll invite you to kind of work at your energy level for that day. So it may be that you're feeling that you need a little bit more of a restful practice, and that's a possibility. You might be feeling like you need a little more energetic practice, and that's a possibility. And we'll just incorporate that into our practice. We will be using traditional yoga poses. So we'll be doing poses lying down, poses kneeling, some poses we might do sitting in a chair, we'll do some standing, and we'll do some using, we'll do balance poses, both freestanding and also using a chair to assist in that alignment and balance. If getting up and down from the floor is a skill that you already have, that is great. If it's not a skill that you use very often, I'll demonstrate that, we'll practice it, and we'll have plenty of time for you to get comfortable moving up and down from the floor to standing and back down to the floor. So wherever you are watching this video, you might want to stand up. Just come into an easy standing position. Roll your shoulders a bit back, press into your feet a bit, and then take a breath and start bringing your arms up to your sides, noticing what's a comfortable range. Maybe you come to the side, maybe you bend your elbows, maybe you come up further. Take a breath, release, and then coming again, just moving slowly so that you can feel what works for you, what works for your shoulders, what works for today. Take a breath and release. And I hope that you can join me on Tuesdays, 2:30 to 3:30 for this yoga practice. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Emmanuel Abramovitz. I'm sorry that I was just teaching a class, so I'm in my phone right now since I just finished another class. My name is Emmanuel Abramovitz, and I will be teaching a class called Immigrants in America, Stories of Jazz, Blues, Rock, and Popular Culture. I have been always fascinated by the fact that something happened in America that could have not happened anywhere else. The blending of people from different origins, the migrations that happened from Europe, Jews and Irish people that came, and Italians, for example, that came from Europe, and the huge migration of Black people that migrated from the south to the north in the same period, basically at the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century. That's the fascinating melting pot that always called my attention since I lived in South America, and I've been privileged to expose that story, to tell those stories since I came to this country. So we'll tell a lot of stories, and that will happen on Mondays at noon, at 12 on Mondays, Eastern Time, starting October the 2nd. It will be 6 weeks about wonderful stories of rock, jazz, blues, and popular culture that I'm sure you will enjoy. Thanks a lot.
Ciao! My name's Austin Wilkes, and this fall I am absolutely thrilled to be returning to OLLI to teach Italian for Travelers, aka the biggest party in OLLI. Italian for Travelers is designed to prepare you with the skills and strategies that you need to get around Italy. But even if you're not preparing for a trip, it's also a really great foundation if you'd like to take the language further. Together, we take an imaginary trip across 6 major cities in Italy. We'll learn language through the lens of culture, discussing topics such as art, music, history, literature, and everybody's favorite food and wine. So, whether you're a novice Or if you have a little bit of experience, we'd love to have you. So come do some armchair traveling with me on Thursdays, starting October 5th, from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. Because even over Zoom, Italy is beautiful this time of year. Ciao.
Hello, my name is Sunny with the U, and I am teaching a fantastic class, Backyard Birding and Beyond. The class fills up quickly because we only have 15 students, so you need to sign up as soon as possible. But let me tell you about it. So we teach over 4 days. We go to St. Mark's, Birdsong, Tall Timbers, and various locations that have the best birds in Tallahassee. I teach the tools like books and apps for birding. And I also teach how to make your backyard and your feeders a gourmet kitchen so they don't go next door. I teach you how to find great spots for birding. So sign up, look in the catalog, see what else we do, and I hope to see you in the fall.
Hi, Stan Rosenthal here. For the Tree ID hike, what we're going to do is go down to the Apalachicola National Forest, the Leon Sinks area just south of town. It's a gorgeous area, beautiful longleaf wiregrass forest, and then these sinkholes, which are really interesting just in themselves, have this gorgeous diverse forest around them. So there's lots of different trees that we get to look at. Whether you're an expert or this is your first time doing it, don't worry, we're going to have a lot of fun. There'll be something for everybody. The date for the class is October 27th from 10 till 2 with a rain date of November 3rd. Hope to see you there. It'll be a lot of fun.